Everyone, this is Dr. Catherine Kelly. Today, I'm going to talk a little bit about your soul path. And, we think about life purposes, we think about where we go in life, we think about goals, but do we really widen the lens enough to think about what is our soul path? And I want to explain that a little bit today so that it helps guide you in this whole conscious evolution process. So, to me, a soul path is basically, again, the trajectory your life takes, but with a conscious slant. And so, when we become very aware of what our soul path is, we learn to listen to our soul very differently. We learn to basically listen within instead of paying attention to what's coming from without. Now, what I mean by this is that we have a very image conscious society that we live in. So we are constantly monitoring what we do and say and think and how we act according to what we think the world wants around us. But a lot of times that is in direct opposition to what our soul wants for us. And so we have to learn how to be in our truth. We have to learn to be in that space long enough to listen in the moment, because, like I've said before, the soul never sleeps. So we have to learn to listen in the moment. What do I need right now? What do I need today? What do I not need today? What is going to distract me from where I'm supposed to be going? What is going to get in the way? What is blocking me? And that sounds very complicated, but really all it is pausing long enough to ask yourself a couple questions. And really the first and most simple one is, what do I need today? And if you want to go deeper, is what does my soul need today? Because it really helps you kind of get things out of the way that aren't really going to help you on your path, but really just asking moment by moment, what is it that I need today? What is it that I need? I want to give you a story, and this happened years ago for me. It was a Monday morning. I got to work. I was feeling fine, didn't have a particularly overwhelming weekend, but I got to work, and somewhere in that first session between my 8 and my 9 o'clock time slot, with that client, my body just started to feel terrible. And I wasn't sure I was getting sick. I just felt very tired. And so after that session, I sat at my desk for a little while and I'm thinking, wow, I'm not sure I can get through the rest of the day. And so I muddled through the next session. And then by 10 o'clock, I was thinking, well, I don't know what's going on, but I know I need to be doing something different. And so in between, right at 10 o'clock, I'm sitting there at my desk and I thought, wow, I'm going to cancel the rest of my afternoon. I will get through my morning, I'll cancel the afternoon, and then I'll see what I need. So called my clients in the afternoon, and actually half of them were glad I did. They had other things that were really pressing on them. They didn't know how they were going to get there on time. So it really worked because I rescheduled them for later in the week and it all worked out. So again, I listened to myself and it actually happened to coincide and work out better for the other people, which is a whole other thing that I'm going to try to mention at the end of this video. Because when we do sense truly what is going to work for us, it usually works for other people as well. So there's something that aligns, something that lines up. So by noon, when I got done with my clients, I sat at my desk and I was just, I was getting through my notes. I knew I was going to leave. And I thought, okay, what do I need? And what was really interesting is I don't eat a lot of red meat, but my soul said you need some red meat, which told me I needed some iron, because I have learned over the years, if I crave red meat, it's iron that I need. So I actually went to a restaurant. I sat outside where I knew I could just really enjoy the sun, ate a burger, which is not that typical for me, but I ate a burger and I sat there afterward and I thought, okay, soul, what do you need now? And I don't take naps. I'm not someone who takes a lot of naps, but my soul said to me, go home and take a nap. I'm like, okay, so that was another odd thing, but I listened. And I went home. The dogs were like, what are you doing home? I got into my lounge clothes. I crawled into bed and I slept for about 2.5 hours. And again, I don't usually take naps in the middle of the day, but I listened. And so when I woke up, I thought, okay, what do I need now? And my soul said, go for a walk, but without the dogs, because you do have to manage dogs when you're walking. And so when I got out there, I thought, okay, I'm just going to walk on my own. So I took about a 45-minute walk, about a 3-mile walk. So I'm approaching my house. I asked soul, what do I need now? And basically what I heard was just be outside and pull some weeds, do something just very basic outside. So I did. I pulled weeds for about probably 45 minutes to an hour. And when I got kind of to the point where I thought, okay, I'm done, I asked spirit, okay, what do I need now? And my soul basically said, you're good. You did what you needed to do. And so, do whatever. And so I didn't do anything high strung or high key that day. But what I did was I listened and I felt so much better. Now, it's not usual for me to reschedule, clients for the sake of me. I usually am like, no, I'm going to push through this. I'm going to get them taken care of. But I knew I was not going to be good for them that afternoon. And it all worked out, like I said. This is another thing I want to throw out there. Not only is it when you listen to your soul and get on that path moment by moment, does it work for you? It usually works for those around you. And we might not think that, but really when we are aligned, when we are very well connected with people and we listen to our truth, it usually fits the needs of the other people around you that matter anyway. So it's one of those things where when we align with spirit for radiant living, which is the subtitle of my book, Soul Health, we also align not only our soul, but usually it lines up. The universe then works out the details so that things will work things out outside of us. So it's so interesting when we get on our soul path, when we start to listen, when we pause long enough to hear ourselves, when we go with what our instincts are telling us, when we go with what our gut is telling us, our soul path lines up. Now, we don't have to know where we're going. And I say this often to people that we don't know where we're going until we get there. As long as we follow our gut instincts, as we lean into what feels like the direction we're supposed to go, either in the moment or in lifetime, meaning there's decisions we have to make, it takes us on our path of evolution, and it makes you know later why you've made decisions in the now. And so when I got back to work the next day, I felt great. I felt so much better. I was on my game. I felt like my mind was working well. My energy was there. And so when I listened to myself that day, it taught me very clearly that if I just pause and listen, it's going to take me down that soul path bit by bit until I get where I'm supposed to be. So the soul, a lot of people think the soul is some woo-woo kind of thing, but the soul operates within us at all times. It is present with us at all times. We just haven't learned to listen to it. We have not been encouraged to listen to that voice within. So it is super important for us to start listening and to start recognizing that just that moment by moment awareness is going to take us on that path, even if we don't know where it's supposed to take us, but it will inform us. It will help us. And what I will say is that it has made my life so much easier to just listen to that inner self and try to get the fray and get the static. I call it soul static. Get the soul static over there so you can actually listen to yourself. So living through your soul is not that hard. The hardest thing about it is understanding that it's operating at all times. And the reason I say that is that we don't have the word soul in our vocabulary. We are not taught from a young age to live through our souls. We are taught to behave according to society or to family or to whatever it is that we think we're supposed to fit into. But it's about fitting into our own space and aligning with ourselves, which means we are aligning with spirit. So I hope this was a good nudge or reminder for how we can do this soul-based living thing. And I will be bringing you much more over the next months and years about how to do this soul-based living thing. So hope this is helpful. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll be back soon. Take care.